Hello. So I might have dumbed it down a little bit at the end of the last shoot, but I said that we didn't want this up here. We want it more towards the center and all. We've actually done everything that we need to. We add padding in. Padding is we add a margin in, and sorry, there is actually a format of padding, but layout margin top. Now, again, I think about 150 display pixels should get it pretty close to the center and all that. So yeah, now it's not at the center. And we've got the nice little text size here, and we can run that up here as well. So yeah, that's popped up a little bit, but we want it a little bit bigger. So let's say 40 scale pixels. So that's not bad. Still a bit bland. We'll get rid of this nice little thing. So we've got a little button and all as well. So what should we name the button? So this is the style. Don't worry about that. Just telling you basic stuff. Now what I want to do first, we'll do the width at about 300 density pixels. Sorry, pixels. For some reason I say display pixels. Now Android Gravity, I believe, might be able to, yeah, Android Gravity will center the text in the middle of its layout. And honestly, if you really wanted, you could probably add in 300 dp here as well, and it would do the same thing. So we don't really need this. We'll have it as, we don't want fill parent either because it will push everything out of screen. We want it to, well, hang on, want it to wrap content. Now this one, we don't really need it to be just wrap content. We want to be able to scale it. So we can actually do this here, or we could do it in the text field where it's got wrap content. Some of you might find it easier here, some of you might find it a little easier in XML, but we'll leave it at 200 dp, and it pops up easily. Now, just to get you a bit used to both of them, we'll run this one at about 50 dp. Don't worry about the enter, it really doesn't do anything, but yeah, so there we go, it's back. Now that seems a bit bigger than it should be, so we're gonna, how about we run it at maybe 25, just to make it a little bit small, well, a bit too small there, 430, say. So yeah, it doesn't really fit that well, but yeah, we don't want the button to be massive, but we don't want it to be too small either, so we'll leave it about 40. Now, again, we probably should add a nice little margin on the top, on the bottom of it, Android layout margin bottom, say 20 display pixels, so it'll push it down a bit. So you've got a bit of space, so you can see the title and then you can see the button. Now we're going to move over to the strings folder. Now this is where the fun really comes in, and we get to build a nice little color. Now I'm going to call this one Puke. Now this is mainly because one of my recent assignments had a little thing where you got to build a game, and in my opinion that background color is a bit like puke green. So, and honestly, I'm not going to say what this is just in case there are young people watching, but I think some adults might be able to find a word that ends with a word that starts with P and ends with yellow that fits in there. So we're going to also create another one, color, name P underscore yellow. Don't be alarmed if you don't see the little underscore. It pops up once we close the tab, so it says. Now, what do we do here? It's kind of hard to think of anything, isn't it? I'm going to go over to my nice little Evernote. I have just dumped in pretty much everything that I've been doing here, and I found one week that I was going to need colors. So I searched for Android Color XML and all that, and it's come up with this. Now, this was actually from a Stack Overflow thing. It's a very useful tool, and it's got it's got tons of colors. Let's just say tons, okay? Now, we don't need to worry much about this, but what we do need to know is that I copied all this here. So, I've got another search for a color. I'm going to find, we'll search for green at first. Now, there's lots of greens. So many. Now, I found a puke green. Well, there isn't actually a puke green, but I'm going to assume maybe a bit of an avocado green, because I don't want to put anyone off avocado. I love it, but suppose it could work as a bit of a puke color. Now, we're going to go back over here, and because we want this to be the background color, we're going to add in Android color, Android background. Now here it says add color, so it's basically it's pointing us to the background. Add color. Now we've got nice little puke here, so we can already tell that this is not going to look good. Yeah, it just doesn't look good. So I think I made a good choice using it as the puke green and all that. But now Android color P yellow. So I'm still not going to tell you what color, what that first word is, but I'm assuming most of you can actually guess it. But I found that it's kind of like a sun yellow. Obviously, it's not that great a yellow, but honestly, universities can make me a bit sick with their choices of colours in assignments. It was just uncomfortable for me. It made me feel a little ill. But what do we do here? We want the text to be the colour. So we type in text, and we've got a nice little text colour here, and then we pop up with a nice little colour / and okay, so it hasn't popped up with anything yet. So we'll type in the P, and it's got puke, and it's got P_yellow, which is the colour that we're looking for. Now, yeah, that's just hideous, completely hideous. But that's what the uni wanted, so we're just going to leave it at that for now. So I've just introduced you a bit to colours. Remember how to input them. Android text color for the text to be colored. Android background color for the background. We can also actually add in a Android background color here, but we're not going to. But I'll show you what it looks like. So we'll add in the. Well, actually, we've already got the puke. So we'll add in the P yellow. Now it's just going to be basically blue. So that is everything that our text view will show. That is it. So we can get rid of this, and we'll see that the text comes back, and it's just ignoring the rest of the view at the moment. The rest of the view is just see-through, and we're just displaying the background. So I'm going to let you go. I have dragged this tutorial on way too long. If you need any help in particular, just send me a message. Otherwise, just hang on and wait for the next tutorial.